Hi, I'm Dana and today we're doing another body doubling video because I need to put my laundry away, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be smart and do it now when there's not actually all that much. So the point of these, for anybody that's new, is that I'll sit here and chat some shite and you can have it on in the background, and because I'm not talking about anything important or doing anything interesting, it's a great time for you to get up and do that thing that you've been putting off doing. Because I make all of my videos for the people that are like me, so if that's not relatable to you, fair enough, you can go. But if you're anything like me, it does just get left and you just, like, you're gonna do it. You're getting there. It's just, at some point it's gonna be the right moment to do it, and it hasn't become that point yet. But it is now, so you can do it. The thing with that for me at the minute is that I don't have anything to talk about. What can I chat shit about? I went to an event the other night that was actually like nice and fun and good. I didn't put as much effort into like doing my makeup and choosing an outfit and stuff. I was very like, I don't have the energy, and I know that I don't. So I know that putting the energy in when I don't have it's just going to mean that I don't have fun. So I'm going to do a very low energy version of myself and just try and have a nice time. And it worked out and I had a lovely time. And to be fair, that is in part because a lot of events say accessible and they just mean that there's no steps for the venue, and this one said accessible, and it meant that when I went in they greeted me and asked if I'd been before, and I said no, and like obviously came across as being a bit anxious because I was, and they gave me the little like rundown of how the night was going to go and explained everything to me and made it just a lot less anxiety inducing. So I actually stuck around for one entire event for a change, and I actually really fucking enjoyed it. I've been to quite a lot of like poetry nights and open mic nights, like spoken word nights and all that kind of thing. And I've been to a hell of a lot that I haven't enjoyed, to be honest with you. Like a lot of them I have been like I'm never gonna laugh at someone. I'm not going to go out of my way to make someone feel bad, but I have been like having to take a drink at like strategic moments to not be making a face and stuff like that, you know. Like I've been to ones where I'm just like, I wouldn't pay to see that again. Whereas lately the couple that I've been to have been ones where I'm like, I want to see these performers again. I want to see what like other work they have. I want to see like specific poems and songs and stuff again. Like it's been stuff that I've really enjoyed. And I also, like, I hate to say it, but I have been like perhaps somewhat inspired. I've never been much of a poetry person because I feel really cringy saying like anything vulnerable or about my feelings or anything out loud. Like that's why I laugh when I'm talking about horrible things in videos. Like I feel weird and stupid and silly. So I was never much of a poetry person, but I've always ventured more towards, I've always been like, I'm a songwriter, but the reality is that I can't play any instruments well. Like I can bash out a little bit of guitar and stuff like that, but I can't play anything well enough to be like, I have the song in my head, like it is here, I have all of the words, I have the entire song and I can sing it to you, I can tell you how it goes. I can't make that into a thing. So like lyricist, maybe, if you're being really fucking generous. This needs to go on the back of my door, but it's there isn't any actual music to it. This is also for the back of my door. It is essentially a poem, what I've written for like my entire life, you know, like all of it. Like as much as I'm like, I have the song for it inside my head, it's basically a poem. And there's been times that I have intentionally written poetry, but it's been stuff that's very like, it's not been with any sort of intention of anyone ever reading it or there being any sort of a performance of it or whatever else. But I have lately written a handful of poems that I am like, they're to be performed. These are like spoken word things, like there is a performance element to them. And I do wonder now that I'm saying it aloud, and that's why I find like doing these videos like so like helpful to process my thoughts and things like that. Because like I did drama for like years and years and years, and I always thought that I was going to be like a performer of some sort. Like I really desperately wanted to, and then realised I wasn't very good. But I also like this, I'm gonna make a full video about this at some point, I think, or like a series or something. Like this is something that's been on my mind a lot lately, which is very like, art's being made by computers now. Like we're seeing AI art and I don't like it. And it's one of those things where like, yeah, maybe my art is a bit shit, maybe the things that I do aren't very good. I think anything that a person does is way fucking better than anything a computer can do. And I would way rather see loads and loads of really shit artists pushing their stuff than any bit of like really, really good computer fucking generated art, you know? And I think there's just a lot to be said for like the importance of being a fucking person at this time and everything, you know? So I feel like I am all the more like sort of inspired and motivated to create things regardless of if they're very good or if people like them or whatever else. And I think like having all this is obviously also a certain level of like, you know, it's very different from when I used to make stuff and it's like 3 people might see it and no one's gonna comment on it. Like there is a level of fallback of like someone's gonna watch it and probably somebody's gonna say something nice about it just because you guys already like me, you know? Like, if I'm ever gonna do stuff, it may as well be now. So I have been considering that I might want to at some point be one of the people that actually performs at all these little like spoken word open mic typey things. But I don't know if I would be able to actually stand in front of a room of people and say things on a stage into a mic, you know? Like hearing my voice over a mic always weirded me out when I was in bands. I've been in bands, like that's how far I've gone with stuff. Like I really genuinely did want to like do something, you know? But I'm just so incredibly fucking anxious. And I've had a lot of the situations where people have like very clearly thought that I'm gonna like get over it at some point and they're gonna like put me in the situation and then I'll get less awkward and anxious, but I've just remained as awkward and anxious as I am because it is how I am, unfortunately. But it's been nice to get involved with some like local art spaces and feel a part of something. I think that's one of the big things as well, is that like I've stumbled into like a certain little like, I don't want to say a certain little group because I don't know. The events that I've been going to have very much been the ones where it is just like neurodivergent queer people. So it is really fucking nice to sit there and listen to a poem that is just like heavily relatable and it's like, yeah, I feel this, I get this. Like a lot of poetry that I've heard across my life and like you study in school and everything was stuff where like you have to analyse it and you don't really initially understand what it's about and like, you know, it's a whole thing and it's really, really special and quite beautiful to get to sit in a room full of people where everyone is clearly like feeling something based on what the person is saying, you know, and everyone, even if we haven't had the same experiences and we're not getting the same message from it, we're all feeling something because of it. And there's a moment of like connectedness that I just haven't experienced in a really long time and that I really fucking enjoy and that I think is incredibly important to just like human well-being and building community and all that kind of stuff. And it's given me a bit of hope for a change, I suppose. All that being said though, I have also started watching the TikTok tarot readers that come up and being like, well, that actually does really relate to me. And it's one of those things where when I've mentioned this before, I've gotten like slightly angry comments from people that think that I'm saying that if you're into tarot cards, you're mentally unwell. No, I know that loads of people do tarot cards for loads of different reasons. I just also know that when I start personally believing in it is usually when I'm not doing very well mentally. It's not something that I usually... It's one of those things where... One sec, I want to sort that. It's the type of thing that I'm very like, I don't know if it's real, you don't, like, I don't want to like disvalue anyone, but I'm the same with religion, you know, like none of us fucking know, like really. If you deeply feel like you do know and that it is real, good for you. Like I really, it don't affect me, does it? It's fine, you do you. If it makes you feel good in some way, if it's a positive for you, go for it. I just, in my day-to-day life when I'm in my right state and I'm doing all right, it's not one of my big beliefs, you know? I don't know for sure, there is a part of me that's like, maybe, but it's not something I'm like, yes, that is about me, I understand, like, that the universe is trying to contact me personally with this message. It's just not me, I'm just not that kind of a spiritual person. And then when I'm doing less mentally well, I'm like, actually this number relates directly to me even though I've never thought about it before in my life. And this entire tarot message is all about me and my life is about to change in some gigantic way. Like, if I went back, there's been so many that I've favourited over the years because something big's about to change, and it hasn't. Like, it doesn't. It's not real. And even if it is, it's got 100,000 likes on TikTok. It's not just for me, is it? Like, you know? So it's one of those things where, like, part of me is very like, I'm doing mentally quite well, I'm doing mentally alright, everything's fine. And a bigger part of me is like, you only believe that when you're not doing mentally very well though. And there's something about this that's made me really anxious. My heart's racing a bit and I'm trying to get my words out faster than I need to. I don't quite know what that is. That might be something for me to unpack later. I think I also just have, this is going to get quite deep in a minute if we're not careful, but I think I also just have quite a wariness towards any sort of like spiritual, supernaturally stuff, because my parents were big into it. We've been through that before. My parents ran like an alternative therapy shop, and it was one of those where I'd be like, Mum, I've got a really, really horrible bad headache, and I'd like do something on my parent, I'm 7 years old, and she'd do Reiki on my head for 10 minutes and I'd be like, this hasn't helped, and she'd be like, well, what do you want me to do? And it's like, give me a fucking painkiller maybe? You know, like, I didn't know that was an option as a child, but I probably should have. Like, my mum just genuinely, like, regularly did Reiki on me instead of taking me to see a fucking doctor. And that's not something that I've thought about in quite a while, and I've never really entirely connected how fucked up that is, so that's fun for me. But yeah, like, growing up with parents like that are into that kind of thing, and that were like, they put me forward as a psychic to a lot of their friends, and I had to go on like ghost tours where people looked to me to be like, what's the energy, what's going on, where's the ghost? So it was a whole time, and that's definitely affected the way that I'm going to feel as an adult going into those types of areas and seeing that kind of content and everything, you know? It's the same as the people that were raised Catholic that get out of it. Like, it's not, that's obviously a whole lot more severe, and there's a whole lot, like, a load of different stuff going on there. But there's some ways in which it's a similar thing where a lot of them aren't super into it afterwards, you know? I keep ending up with, like, they're not odd, they're from the same pack, because if they weren't, I wouldn't be able to put them together because they wouldn't be the same sock. The fact they're from the same pack, so they're like the same shape, the same material, the same size, that means they can go together, but they are technically odd socks. I don't technically want them to be, but it keeps just happening to me. And then because I'm wearing them as odd pairs, they're not even the same odd pair. One of them is this one. I'm annoying myself with that. I also think that I am really gonna have to approach like an EDS type of thought, because like the just pure ache of my hands lately is ridiculous. Like, I really want to do some artsy stuff today, and I don't think I'm going to be able to, because like my hands really ache. Like, what kind of fucking old person bullshit's that? No offense to old people, I don't mean any age or some shit. I'm bullying myself, not anyone else, alright? I now also have to do the stand up and actually put away bit. I don't want to do that either. But we've come this far. We're very nearly done. It'll be so nice when we are. So I'm going to go off and do that. If you've done something, well done. If you haven't, it's alright. It don't really matter that much anyway, does it? You'll do it at some other point. As always, if you want to let me know what you did, if you have any thoughts on anything I've said, just... I like the conversation we have on these videos, because so many fewer people watch it. It feels like it's like a slightly different group of conversation that I get to have with you guys. And I mean, it is the same people, you know the drill, you know what I've got going on. Lots of people aren't on the Discord that comment on here, and I'd actually like quite like you to be. I don't know if that's putting pressure. See, that's the thing, is I don't want to pressure anyone, but I am also very used to the YouTubers that are like, and remember, you need to pay me $10 immediately so that you can join my private community. If you message me, it's free. There isn't actually a paywall. There's so many things that you guys say as jokes, and I'm like, no, but like, you're touching a nerve there. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see... Oh my gosh, there's a whisker. A whisker on my floor. Look at the little like dark end of it, a little oat whisker. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you have a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I'll see you again in a few days. Bye.